United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Carrie, and welcome to the Monday, June 30, 2014 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Kevin Cook, who is the vice chair this year and represents District 2, and Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
First item, please.
First item is item 2, unfinished business. Number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number HR 2014-2, adopting the 2014 one-year update of the Shawnee County Solid Waste Management Plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ed Kalis, Chair of the Committee. I'm here to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for Ed?
I don't know that I have any, Commissioner.
Okay.
Just
Yes.
checking to see, did you get any feedback from the public on?
No, we've not heard anything, no.
No? Okay.
Yeah, we had the first reading last Thursday, and
Correct.
today is the final. Okay. Do I
Unless
hear a
somebody's
mo-
hiding something from me. I have not seen any kind of
Okay.
response.
All right.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the 2014 annual update of the Shawnee County Solid Waste Management Plan.
I will second, and thank you to the committee that works on this as well.
Yes, exactly. Motion made to approve the resolution by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. And again, thank you, Ed, and the committee. Next item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments about the consent agenda?
I don't have any questions.
And either, move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda as presented by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we have vouchers that total $2,706,665.30. Now, of those, the first is allocations. We have our quarterly allocations for different things such as the Extension Council, seniors, mental retardation, doorstep. The list is quite extensive, so rather than go through all of the allocations do add up to $1,216,345.60. And again, that's a quarterly allocation. The remainder is our Horizon Health holding accounts for the state of Kansas, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the New World payment for the offender registration form, Kansas Children's Service League through the Health Department, Public Works projects, the Sewer District projects, and JADO is also on here for our payment, and our workers' compensation. Of those that I highlighted, that's $2,519,494.38. So almost all of that is in those few items. So I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve the voucher payments, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
There are no correction orders.
Next item, please.
Item B, elections. Number 1, consider approval of request for sole source purchase of 150 ES&S TXS touchscreen voter access card encoders at a total cost of $11,250 plus shipping and handling.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. We're requesting 150 access card encoders. And what those are is they're the small handheld devices that our board workers use to actually build or encode for the ballot for those people who wish to vote on a touchscreen. Due to the fact that we've had some difficulties in prior August elections in Shawnee County, Mark and I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out process improvement to make sure that the correct ballots get handed out and that the public receives the correct ballot. We believe that these cards will help us to mitigate some of that risk, make it easier and clearer for board workers to hand out the correct ballots. As you know, there are 438 different ballot designs that are going to exist for this election. That's due to the fact that there are Republicans and Democrats in various districts across the county. So there are a lot more styles than normal for this election, and we believe that this would help mitigate some of that risk for board workers. If you have any questions, I'll certainly be glad to try to answer them.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Mr. Howell, I know that in our prior discussions, you have been looking at maybe purchasing some election equipment in the near future, maybe not by this election cycle through November, but after November, looking at it, a pretty big election equipment purchase. Is it prudent for us to spend $11,000+ now, or is our equipment able to get us through the August and November cycle?
In my opinion, I think that we have to spend a little bit of money to kind of make sure that we've mitigated the risk of handing out the incorrect ballot in the August primary. I kind of understand your question, and we've thought about that, but at this point, I think it's a pressure point that we really can't afford to ignore.
Great. Move approval.
Second.
I have no questions.
Was this in your budget, Andrew? The
No,
$1,000?
No, it was not specifically named in our budget.
Okay.
But you are able to cover it in your
We
budget, correct?
believe that we can. We
You
think
will.
that we've got some extra pressure due to the 501, mail ballot that wasn't specifically in our budget either, but we believe that we can, yes.
We're counting on you. Was it?
I made the motion, yes.
Okay.
And I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Bueller to approve the purchase, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Andrew. Next item.
Item C, Kansas Expo Center. Number 1, consider approval of request for capital expenditures in a total amount not to exceed $5,182.47 for the following. A, repair of a pump shaft with a Bell and Gossett pump on the hot water loop in an amount of $700. B, repair and programming of domestic hot water boilers in an amount of $1,055.95. C, replacement of the condenser fan motor on the administrative office rooftop unit in an amount of $765.45. And D, repair to the Daktronics V-Link 4500 controller in an amount of $2,661.07.
Good morning, Commissioners. H.R. Cook, General Manager, Kansas Expo Center. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions regarding these items that you wish. The amount is, again, $5,182.47, leaving us a balance of $18,116 left in our capital improvement budget. We will be coming back to the, you should be receiving a memo this month regarding additional allocations request for the rest of the year.
Are there questions for Mr. Cook about the maintenance expenditures?
No.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Very good.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller to approve the capital expenditures as presented. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Chairman,
Commissioner. Yes,
I
Commissioner.
might ask HR, this is an example of expenditures that we've had over the years of taking care of the Expo Center. And so any idea of our maintenance dollars and how they've added up? I know that it's an aging building, and so those repairs are getting more frequent and more costly, but we do have a history of showing that we are taking care of the Expo Center. Would you agree?
Oh, yes, absolutely. These, a couple of these items in here, one is a repair for our video board system, which will happen. The other one is, an example of how we have been taking care of the building. We had As far as the hot water boilers, we had a professional come in and check the pressures on both to make sure they were running through the loop through both of the boilers, and found that they were out of adjustment. So that's a minor adjustment. Those are the small repairs that we make. But like anything, with the building being 30 years old, it's just like a house. You can vacuum the carpet and dust the cabinets as much as you want, but eventually you're going to need a new roof, and your hot water heater's going to go bad after 15 years. So it's just a matter of time before those things just start catching up to us. But as far as the minor, a lot of the small maintenance items that you see, the smaller pipe repairs and things that we do in-house, you don't see those on the capital repairs, because we handle those in-house out of our operating account. So, but as far as those costs are concerned, yes, those are beginning to creep upward. So we need to start looking at some larger maintenance items here in the next few years.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, H.R. Next item, please.
Item D, emergency management. Number 1, consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for an employee to attend training at the Energetic Materials Research and Testing Center at New Mexico Tech with no cost to the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Sturbins with Emergency Management. I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, I had a few. Who is attending the training?
We don't give out the names of those for security reasons, so that people don't know when they're gone out of town. We can discuss that in executive.
Okay.
Sorry.
And the training is 5 days?
Yes.
What's the training, David?
It's
What
more
is
of the
specific application?
Okay,
of the
it's
Shawnee
more of the improvised explosive devices and terrorist training that we use to help identify what's going on, looking at trends, and more of our continuing education. So there's a
It's
series.
IEDs?
That's part of it, yes. For example, the last class that they went to had to do with how they build, like the, I'm sorry, I'm tired, I'm not thinking real good, how they build the different types of hazardous materials so that they can put out toxic gases and things. So this is now more into the explosive side.
And how's it paid for?
It is paid for through federal funding for the site, and then what they do is the individual applies, and then their airline flight and meals and the stay at the site is all taken care of. So it's federally funded, that we don't spend any money up front nor get reimbursed.
Other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Mr. Sturbins, I appreciate that the cost of the training, the airfare, the hotel are at no cost to the county. But when we look at the cost of the county, we still have the employees' wages.
Absolutely.
And so there is some cost to the county. It's just that there's not any cost. But
Right.
we still have the employees' wages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is a salaried employee, not that that makes any difference, but
Oh, and that's a good point. It's not hard dollars, it's soft dollars.
sure.
And the question always is, how does the work get done when someone is on 5 days of training?
Yeah.
Which is always a concern. Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, and I think that's important to point out, it is training that we do receive at a very significant reduction of cost. And so it enables that individual to come back and let the others in the department know, and then to work collectively with the other response.
I think that we have a good
community.
history with providing feedback when we return from schools and making our information available to other departments. That helps us with our incident action plans and training that we do throughout the county.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge payoff when we do share information across departmental lines. I think that's critical for any training that may apply across departmental lines. Any other questions or comments? Motion?
I'll move for approval of the request for out-of-state travel and for training.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 257-2014, extension of contract C 5-2014 with Wood Valley Racquet Club to operate the Parks and Recreation tennis programs on a month-to-month basis through the end of 2014 or until terms for a revised contract can be worked out.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This morning's a very informative meeting. Carrie Golden knew all the words to the Pledge of Allegiance. Rich Eckert is an expert on skin tones. Apparently my shirt does not match skin tone. I never thought I'd ever hear Rich Eckert do that. And also, H.R. Cook dusts and vacuums. I did not know any of those three things before this meeting started today. Commissioners, this is a request to extend a contract with Wood Valley Racquet Club. If you'll recall, recently we had a master plan that was put in front of the Board of County Commissioners. With that, it addresses ways that the department should look to operate these kind of facilities in a more efficient manner. I'll say that this is a contract we inherited from the city, but they had already begun doing that type of work. It's a state-of-the-art facility that brings in people from all over the Midwest to come in for events to stay in our community, and the county then contracts with Wood Valley Racquet Club to actually manage and operate that facility at a much less cost than what it would be for us to hire our own personal tennis professional and operation along those lines. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have. The reason we haven't negotiated a contract before now is we kind of want to wait and see what how the master plan addressed some of these type of things. So.
Good point. Good point. Questions or comments about the contract?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Mr. Knight, does this change any of the current terms or payments or?
It does not change anything at this time, but I anticipate sometime between now and the end of the year that we have a new contract going forward that addresses all of those type of things.
Okay. And so if anybody has any concerns or comments regarding the tennis program with Wood Valley or with the Shawnee County Parks and Rec, they should direct those to?
John Knight or Terry Birtles. Terry Birtles.
I don't have anything further.
Okay.
I don't know. Move approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 258-2014, extension of contract C 4-2014 with Lake Shawnee Golf Management to operate the Forbes Golf Course through December 31st, 2014.
Commissioners, this sounds on the surface kind of like the previous item, but is quite a bit different. If you'll recall, early in the year, I came before you with requesting permission to close the Forbes Golf Course. It was at that time that the Commission then suggested that you wanted to have a little bit of time to go by, see what the master plan said when it came back. Specifically, I left this meeting with the commissioners saying they'd like to see what we could do in the way of increasing revenues and reducing expenses. I did address some of that in my memorandum to you. Staff has lowered the expenses. In fact, we've cut the subsidy dramatically over the last 6 months. And also, since that time, specifically called out in the master plan, is that Forbes Golf Course also does play a significant role in growing the game of golf at our other golf courses and those type of things. They recommended that us to specifically theme that golf course for 50-plus golfers, families beginning golf, and youth golfers, which we would be starting that process real quick here. This is a contract that continues the operation with Lake Shawnee Golf Course Management to manage that facility for us. Be happy to answer any questions you may have, and member Austin Tillman with Lake Shawnee Golf Management is here, as well as Carrie Golden. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions or comments?
A
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Just, John, does this include the continued use of, for the First Tee program with community action and all
Yes.
that? It does?
Mhm.
Okay, that's important.
Yes.
They'd
They'd be a key player going forward,
Yeah.
especially with the growing the game for youth.
Good, okay.
Yeah, I'd sort of like to thank staff for being creative, because really what this does, it saves money for the taxpayers, and keeping Forbes open actually links to the strategic plan, and it links to the mission of Parks and Rec. So I appreciate it. And I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the contract, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E3, consider authorization and execution of Contract C 259-2015, addendum to Contract C 45-2014 with Midwest Sports Productions, identifying responsibilities of each party for the 2014 and under, 16 and under, 18 and under USSSA Fast Pitch World Series.
Commissioners, earlier this year, we had a contract put in front of you that received approval to contract with MSP to run tournaments at our Lake Shawnee Baseball Complex and our Lake Shawnee Girls Softball Complex. It addressed everything but a World Series. We didn't know at that time that we were going to get a World Series. Since that time, we've got a World Series. This is an amendment to that contract that specifically addresses the World Series that'll be coming up here in a couple of weeks, which again does meet another thing that was talked about in our master plan, which is providing or putting Topeka and Shawnee County in a place where you bring in tourists and those type of things, meeting tourism goals, helping offset some of the costs for those facilities. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Questions or comments?
I have none. I would move for approval of the contract.
A second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, John. I think the shirt goes well with your face, too. Next item.
Item F, Health Agency, number 1, consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for 3 WIC dietitians to attend the National Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition, Education, and Breastfeeding Conference, with KDHE paying up to $5,200 for conference registration fees, travel, hotel, and meals.
Morning, Commissioners. Allison Alejos, Health Agency. The request before you is for 3 WIC dietitians to attend the National WIC Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, September 8th through the 10th. The cost for the conference and any associated travel and meals is paid by the state WIC department. Our staff are in fact paid completely through our WIC grant, so there are no tax dollars supporting the WIC program at all. This opportunity it's one that comes around every 2 years. They're able to go out and work with other folks across the nation that deal with WIC issues that's specific for WIC populations. There's information on new and upcoming research. They get to listen to those top experts in the field. It's really just a very good opportunity for our staff to be able to go. And the staff that we have selected to go are frontline staff that are actually interacting with our clients. We do serve approximately 10,500 individuals through the WIC program. We see folks not only in Shawnee County, but Osage and Wabunsee. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Questions or comments? And, we talked about how many customers this program serves. It's well over 10,000.
And another tidbit, whenever the state allows somebody to use their funds to go to these conferences, they always come back and have to write an article for the state newsletter, so they will be doing that in addition to a trip report.
Excellent. Questions or comments?
She explained it very well.
Yep.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries
Thank you.
3-0. Thank you, Allison. Next item, please.
Item F2, consider approval of request to reactivate and fill a mid-level provider position and enter into a contract with Family Service and Guidance Center to cover 50% of the annual salary, including benefits, of $100,458.60.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Shawnee County Health Agency. The request before you, we have reviewed with Human Resources Director. The purpose of this particular position is to help us increase our ability to see pediatric patients and to help Family Service and Guidance help achieve the service model needed to address the health homes program that the Kansas Department of Health and Environment CanCare Medicaid program is implementing. This position actually aligns very well with the safety net report that we received earlier this year in helping us emphasize our pediatric population and making those services more readily available. The position would be working 50% of their time in our clinic and 50% of their time at a Family Service and Guidance Center location. And we would share that cost. We don't actually have the contract drafted as how that will work yet, but we anticipate it'll just be that the county pays the position fully, and then we'll be reimbursed for the half of the salary for that position. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have, and I would also like to acknowledge Brenda Mills from Family Service and Guidance Centers here as well.
Questions or comments for Alice?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner.
While on its face, this looks like a very technical contract and a lot of technical language. I think that it does represent a very unique opportunity between Shawnee County, Family Service and Guidance, to identify some populations that maybe their needs aren't being met, people that are being seen by Family Service and Guidance or people that are being seen by Shawnee County Health, and really making sure that we have bridged between these two populations and making sure that we can really maximize our health population here in Shawnee County, especially for children.
Very good point. Sounded like a motion to approve.
It is.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, and we will bring the contract once that is drafted as well.
Okay.
Okay.
From what I understand, you have 2 new opportunities in the, to provide public service, and I'd like for you to tell us about those, Alice.
I need to grab my notes because I left them back here.
Mhm.
The first item is I have been asked to serve on the Kansas Association for the Medically Underserved's Board of Directors. That is a term that will begin actually next week, and so I've agreed to do that. That'll actually be a pretty important role at this time. As you know, the director is leaving her position there, and so the board will be engaged in hiring the new director. Before she left, though, she submitted my name, her and some of the other staff, to our National Association of Community Health Centers to serve as a congressional key contact member. So I'll be part of that program. And essentially, it's being a local representative who can help convey the importance of the FQHC funding to our federal legislators. So I'm not quite sure what that will all involve yet, but I'm sure it'll be lots of phone calls and emails. So thank you.
Well, thank you, congratulations.
Thanks.
I think those are tributes that are very well deserved, and I always want to make sure that people are recognized when they contribute to our community and provide community service. So thank you, and
Thank
again,
you. I
congratulations,
appreciate that.
Alice. Next item, please.
Item G, corrections, number 1. Consider approval to offer the social worker MSW position at a higher salary range of range 24, step 5, for a total salary, including benefits, of $52,702.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. After 39 years of service, Tim Switzer decided to call it quits, a much well-deserved retirement and emotional retirement that we had at the department for him. But with his retirement, we did seek approval to fill his position, and the commission gave us permission and approval to fill that position back in May 15th of this year. We did go through the hiring process. Only were able to get 3 applicants, and then after it was a competitive process where you're able to hire somebody with very exceptional qualifications, and with in compliance with the Human Resource Policy Manual before you today to ask for a request to start this person at a higher rate of pay. That we hired and selected a person by the name of Dawn Bradley. She came with us, and part of her hiring was she came with licensing that would enable her to do suicide risk assessments, medication assessments. Also, her work history comes with a great deal of knowledge of working in Larned, PRN work with mental health screenings in Douglas County. She brings with her a great deal of exceptional skills that we need. I've said this before in different meetings and different platforms in the community that the jails are becoming the psychiatric centers for the community. Shawnee County jail is the largest in Shawnee County. We have to meet the challenge of this difficult population to manage. They are very tough, and we have to have qualified staff. And I do believe that the starting salary was lower, and it was tough for us to get applicants. I did meet with Director John Thummel at great lengths regarding this position, getting his input on requesting, and he supported this request as well. And so that's why I'm here. And this is a very critical and very valuable position for us to maintain our quality of service. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Brian. Are there questions or comments?
No,
I'll move for approval of the request to fill the social worker position.
a second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item.
Item H, Commission, number 1, consider canceling the August 11th, 2014 Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to cancel the August 11, 2014 Commission meeting.
Second.
Motion made to cancel the meeting by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. With this being the holiday week for the 4th of July, we do have an alteration in our solid waste collection schedule. I first want to point out, I want to appreciate the Capital Journal and City Channel 4 for putting it in their formats. This week's a little bit different with the holiday being on Friday. We're shifting actually days up. So I want to try to catch as many people as possible ahead of time. For Monday and Tuesday customers, there will be no change. However, Wednesday customers will be moved up to Tuesday. Thursday customers will be moved up to Wednesday, and Friday customers will be moved up to Thursday. So it will affect 3 days of our customers. So I just want to get that out there. And again, appreciate Capital Journal and Channel 4, and we've also sent out news releases to all the TV stations. So hopefully we can catch as many people, but with it affecting 3 days of people, I wanted to say it one more time. So thank you.
Good deal. Thank you, Tom. Others?
Well, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
While John is coming up, Jane, I'm going to ask you, Canvas, is that on the 11th? So are we canceling because of the Canvas then? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that,
Yeah.
because I had it on my calendar and.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It is a
and
Canvas.
I should have made that clear. That is a canvas for the August primary.
Right,
So
okay.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Commissioner
just
Bueller.
wanted to-
No, thank you very much.
Commissioners, I just wanted to draw to your attention, there's a nice little article in today's paper about Edgewood Park. Terry Bertles, Bill Rippon from our staff have done a lot of work over there in that area to help develop the, it's an old park, but it's needed to have some upgrades to it, and they've been working with descendants of the Dillon family to cover the vast majority of the cost for that, and there's a very nice article that kind of outlines that today in today's newspaper. So if you had any other questions, Terry Bertles would be happy to answer those questions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Sturbins, Emergency Management again. Wanted to talk a little bit about the storm we had last night north of the river. We started watching that storm as we were getting calls actually directly from the National Weather Service telling us they were seeing some rotation out by the Dover area in Wabaunsee County. And so at that time, Mr. Castile activated the EOC and started calling staff and volunteers to make sure we had people out. We weren't seeing anything. We weren't getting anything from the National Weather Service, although we were seeing some rotation and we were in direct communication, which is why they were asking if we had people actually in the field. But I wanted to point out that social media was full of photos and videos of the storm last night, and I'm reading from one of the emails I got from staff this morning. But Shawnee County Emergency Communications Center only received one phone call after the fact reporting anything last night. We were on National Weather Service chat as well, and none of the local news media reported anything to the National Weather Service either, although one station posted a video on Facebook of rotation that was prior to the report from North Topeka and did not report it either. But, you know, trying to tell people that when you're seeing something, you know, it's nice to put everything on social media and especially after it's all over to analyze everything on social media. You know, when you're seeing something go on, especially these little small storms, you can't necessarily see those on the radar, you know, without somebody right there looking at it. They're so small. For example, what you had last night was considerably smaller and less damage than the hailstorm that went through east of Lake Shawnee back in May that did, I would say, several $1 million worth of damage to houses and stuff. Last night, all we were aware of was some tree branches and things like that. But, you know, people need to understand that these little small ones like that, they're impossible to see ahead of time, and usually by the time we do see them, they're already gone. If you remember the cold air funnel incident several years ago in North Topeka that was reported by a trained spotter, we caught a lot of guff for that, that after those dispersed, we chose to hit the sirens. And, you know, it was like, well, why did you hit the sirens when it was over? So it's really one of those touchy things. Dispatch didn't see anything that made them want to hit the button last night. We didn't see anything that would have caused alarm for us to hit the button. But again, everything that we got came after. I did have coffee this morning at a restaurant and was talking to a gentleman that told me he was sitting on his porch and watched what he thought was that same event last night. And he said, again, he said it's like all of a sudden it was just there, and then as quick as it was there, it was already gone. So with that, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Dave. I know that sometimes we get questioned as commissioners when we sound sirens, when we don't sound sirens, why we did or why we didn't. And I think this is just a good explanation and a good briefer.
Yeah. Thank you. And all the sirens were working. We did have one report on social media that there was somebody that lives by a school that their siren has never worked. My staff went by that location this morning, and we're not aware that a siren was ever in that location, at least not while any of us have been here, and we took down all the last systems, so we're not sure what that was about. But the sirens are working, believe me.
Are you testing today?
I don't know yet. We
Okay.
will, yeah, with the clouds and stuff coming in.
Possibility.
Again, even though everybody knows we test our sirens at noon on Monday, if it's windy or there's clouds and we set them off, we get calls from people panic. So if it's windy and if it's cloudy, we will not test. But we test every morning at 3 a.m. People don't know that. All the sirens go through an electronic test, and we actually get like every battery fail, everything, or like every time the electricity goes out for a minute. When Westar loses electricity, we get emails, so we know the system's capabilities.
Okay.
Any other public comments today? Commissioner?
Just a reminder that we have budget discussions starting 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, I believe. Is that correct? And just a note that you can follow along. Pat put up the banner that talks about or directs you for the live proceedings for the budget. So appreciate that.
Yeah, to follow up, and thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner. Yeah, this week's budget hearings on Wednesday at 9 is corrections. At 10 o'clock is the district court. At 11 o'clock is Vallejo. At 1 o'clock is the county clerk, and then at 2 o'clock is TARC. And on Thursday, we have one hearing, the elections commissioner at 10:30. So those are the budget hearings that we've got scheduled for this week. Anything, Commissioner?
No, I have nothing further.
Okay, good deal. Next item.
Item 6, executive session.
I do believe there's a need for
Okay.
a period not to exceed 15 minutes for purposes of consultation with legal and acquisition of real property. I believe that's it. That's a motion.
Okay, motion made to go into executive session. Oh, yes, sir, I'm sorry. Come right up.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Chuck Gunn. I'm retired. I want to thank you for your vote to extend Forbes Golf Course operation for the rest of the year. You relieved a lot of people today. A lot of them thought this is the last day they get to play. I now know I don't have to go home and change clothes to get around in, so I'm all right. One thing at the end of this period, at the end of the year, I would hope we could do something on a more permanent plan where we don't have to address this every 6 months. Hopefully that can be looked at that time and do something. But thank you.
Well, thank you, Chuck. And again, the strategic plan addressed Forbes. And what we did today is extend the contract to the end of the year, as you know. And we're going to take the strategic plan very seriously and the recommendations that it made. So, nothing's guaranteed in life, as you know, but I think the strategic plan is going to be, our roadmap going for the next 5, 10, 20 years for Parks and Rec in Shawnee County. So, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you for your comments, sir. We did have a motion for executive session not to exceed 15 minutes. I second that. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0. We are back in session, no action required, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
I know, I don't.
Couldn't even sign it.